First week of our fall season is rolling along here on CNN 10. My name is Carl Jesus. It's great to have you watching. I love starting off a show with hopeful news, and here is some hopeful news concerning coronavirus. A number of studies are looking into our immune system's response to the disease. Several of these studies are in their early stages and haven't been reviewed yet, but they're giving some encouragement that our bodies are learning to detect coronavirus and work to keep people who've been infected from getting sick again. A couple of these studies looked at T cells, important parts of our immune system that can attack and kill cells that are infected. One study of blood samples found that between 20 and 50% of Americans in some places may have T cells that recognize coronavirus, even if they've never been diagnosed with it. Scientists don't know why. It might be a response to other coronaviruses we've caught, like the common cold. They also don't know if recognizing COVID-19 means the cells are good at fighting it. But they're optimistic about the findings. Another study looked at the antibodies produced in response to and protection against coronavirus. It found that our antibodies may be good at fighting a recurrence of the disease for at least 4 months after people first become infected. There have been a number of cases of people testing positive for COVID-19 more than once, but researchers say they haven't seen huge numbers of reinfection, even though the virus is widespread. So this suggests the body's immune system is working to protect us from catching it multiple times. But this hasn't been proven yet. Scientists say time will tell when it comes to coronavirus immunity. 10-second trivia. What kind of bird is unable to fold its wings? Ostrich, penguin, condor, pelican. The penguin's wings are more like flippers that help it swim through the water, but they don't fold. New research has yielded a new theory about penguins. For years, scientists have said the animals originated in Antarctica. Researchers at the University of California, Berkeley say penguins first came on the scene in Australia and New Zealand. Scientists teamed up with international museums and universities to look at blood and tissue samples from 18 different penguin species. From this, they suggested that the ancestors of modern-day penguins first occupied temperate environments, which can have warm summers in addition to cold winters. The research proposed that the predecessors of today's king and emperor penguins split off from the rest in pursuit of the abundant food supply of Antarctic waters. Today, different species of penguins can be found in very different environments, from the frigid polar landscape of Antarctica to the tropical region of the Galapagos Islands. And the study says how they got to such different places is still controversial. We know a lot of you who usually watch this show on campus are now watching at home online. Just a small part of how your lives have dramatically changed in this pandemic. Universities and colleges have a unique challenge in this too. They still have to pay professors, maintain buildings, run programs, but tuition may not currently include the full college experience.
So we kind of find out on their website, on their frequently asked questions, it said, will we be getting a refund? And they said no.
When Shreya Patel launched her petition to lower tuition fees at Rutgers University in July, the New Jersey University had just announced that most of its fall classes would be conducted online.
It just doesn't make sense to be paying such a high amount for something that's not being, used to the full advantage.
Nearly 31,000 signatures later, she's created a movement for other frustrated students like Jenny Subramanian.
So I think the biggest thing is a lack of transparency. We don't know where this money is going.
The pressure from nearly half of the student body ultimately led the school to cut campus fees for the semester by 15%. Not enough, says Jenny.
Tuition reduction would be great, but so fees are what we are paying for, and if we're not going to be here, then what's the point?
Experts like Scott Galloway, himself a university professor, believe students are right to be outraged.
Universities have backed themselves into a corner, and that is we have raised tuition on average 2.5-fold over the last 20 years.
More than 75% of the country's 5,000 colleges and universities are expected to be partially or fully online this fall, and some are joining Rutgers in discounting fees. Williams College is dropping tuition by 15%. Johns Hopkins, Princeton, Georgetown, Spelman, and Clark Atlanta University are cutting tuition by 10%, while other schools such as USC offered their students living-at-home grants for those choosing to study from home.
Interestingly enough, some students will be in residence halls at the campus but their courses will be online.
But the majority of schools, from state schools like Temple University and the University of Massachusetts system to elite private schools like Harvard and Stanford, are keeping tuition as is.
Are you surprised that we haven't seen more offer even a small tuition reduction?
I think universities have handled this about as well as they could possibly have handled it. Universities have to balance their budgets.
Terry Hartle, an advocate for higher education, says ever since COVID-19, universities have lost millions.
Every institution of higher education in the country has suffered losses. Room and board, the international students, the hotel, the bookstore, all of those have just largely disappeared.
Experts also say higher education institutions are better equipped for online learning than K-12 schools, which could help drive down tuition costs.
It is time to lower costs and move education back to what it used to be.
But millions of college students like Shreya still feel deprived of campus life and depleted in their bank account.
I don't think the financial well-being of a billion-dollar institution should be compared to the students who are severely struggling.
College sports are another matter entirely. Many schools still have unanswered questions about the upcoming college football season. Performance arts have been affected. New York City's Broadway theaters have been closed since March and won't reopen again in 2020. And what about symphony orchestras? It's not just the challenge of keeping distance between audience members.
Always the ideal has been that the musicians sit very close together, so there is the maximum amount of contact. The same for the audience, to have this sort of intimate feeling.
As the performing arts attempt to safely return to concert venues around the world, much of the focus has been on distancing the audience. But for an orchestra, distancing regulations can mean fewer musicians are allowed to take to the stage, sometimes in different layouts and often performing to far less people.
When we add the distance between the players, of course certain things change.
Oui, on est distancié et c'est difficile parce que pour l'ensemble tout simplement, pour l'homogénéité.
According to the CDC, COVID-19 is thought to be a respiratory virus that mainly spreads when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or even talks. One study found that playing wind instruments might not spread as much of the person's breath as singing would. But in an enclosed space like a concert hall, some preventative measures like air conditioning or opening windows aren't possible, and the players can't wear masks while performing. So a risk of transmission still exists. For now, in Paris, musicians playing wind instruments are being kept 2 meters apart, which puts them further apart than string players. But it's not just musicians affected. Audience numbers are half what they'd normally be, with spectators deliberately kept apart. Live streaming has kept some musical groups connected with their audiences during lockdown, and even offers performances to those who can't get tickets. But it does not compare to the experience of a live concert.
Deer Creek Reservoir in north central Utah is a popular spot for lakeside recreation. But it was during that kind of recreation that a woman recently lost her wedding ring, which her husband had designed using her grandmother's diamond. She offered $100 for anyone who'd look, and the Wasatch County Search and Rescue Team spent days and dives trying to help. Eventually, they did it. They found the diamond in the reservoir, but they refused the reward. A story with a great ring to it. It's come full circle. We're glad they were able to cut to the chase and carry it to the surface with the clarity of a mission that brings some great color to CNN 10. I'm Carl Azus, and this show goes out to Grand Island Senior High School in Grand Island, Nebraska.